Oh, Febreze bottles on the way of what I'm looking at. Uh, what's up? My name is 32-Bit, and I don't know if I'm going to be making a beat today, but as you can tell from the title of the video, I'm pretty much going to run you through like how uh, my setup as far as my landscape is to keep me prepared. And I got the cam on my pads here just because. Now, I'm going to do a couple of different things. One is like showing you, one thing I want to show you is how to set yourself up to just be ready for anything, quote unquote. A lot of people will come to me with some ideas like, hey, I want to have this kind of feel or this kind of flow or whatever. Like, I want to be ready and, not have to sit there and pick through a little bit of things, which, let's be honest, I will end up doing. But with this setup, I do it far less. Obviously, your mileage may vary as far as your DAW that you have set up. Reason, Ableton, Pro Tools, those are pretty good about keeping yourself in check if you're seeing what I'm about to do here, which is I have drum racks that I personally like. I like certain sounds, so I'll put them in there, like dope drums, dope brums. You could read that. God, spelling. But dope drums. I got a Mardi Gras type of kit, with like the little Mardi Gras sounds in there. I got tribal drums for melodic. And then I have an option 2, which has slightly different variation, but about the same thing. Now, let me open up this one. This is actually my first one, which would explain why it's misspelled. This is actually my first one. See, it's just a simple, just like... just simple little kit. And it's easy for me to just pick this up. Like, someone comes to me with some kind of cool little idea, and I'm just like, huh. And I could just go with it and have no issues. Let me turn this up real quick. That way you guys can hear it. It's at negative 6 dB right now, but I can put it at negative 3, be alright. But having tools at your disposal that's ready to go, that you personally pick, like that you like, it helps you go farther. And it also helps to pre-mix your shit, not master it. Don't throw like a shit ton of stuff over there. You oversaturate it. I mean, just keep it as close to dry as possible. I mean, unless you're going for a certain type of sound, like you really don't need to load up like your saved things with like a ton of crazy effects, just like, because when you go to make a song and this is already pre-mixed for you and everything, like, I mean, sometimes that's cool, but you want to be able to be super flexible with it. But that's this one. This is my first one. Again, the Mardi Gras kit has like the shakers and stuff on this side, and this stuff here, like, and then I got my drums on this side, and this is actually pretty loud. I didn't mix this. This was just like a quick throw together. So again, it's pretty important to just go through and like, you like your sound, just you like your sound, just mix it down and kind of get it to a listenable level. Try and keep it between negative 6 and negative 3 as far as like, well, you know what, you can actually go a little lower than that. You can have your kick be like negative 10, and then you can have your snare be negative 10 as well. I put my snares a little lower because my snares have super cut through, but it's just based upon the sample the sample that you use. This is a LD kick. This is a cardiac snare. This is a T minus hi-hat, pretty much just get it as close to balance as possible. There's another cardiac snare there. But yeah, I think you pretty much get the picture. I'm not trying to like dumb it down super crazy so that way like you're like, okay, dude, I get it. But here's another one. This is actually a kit that I use frequently. It's a mashup of sounds. Of course, the cardiac snares there. I got this kick from somewhere. I don't know where it came from. This bass drop came from somewhere. I have no doubt in my mind that this is probably like a quote-unquote Lex Luger. I say quote-unquote because, like, you know how people throw up those, like, sample packs, and it's just like, okay, we get it. That's totally not Lex Luger. It's close. It's damn close. The crash and a snare, which I've used these two consistently for 6 years. 6 years. But I use this one a lot. I also need some grips on this launch pad. But I use this one a lot because I think after many days of just planning out and trying to like make stuff, I come to these select instruments a lot. And this is the option to a different kick. That's about it. In different levels as far as everything else goes. But yeah, I like these. So these are pretty much my quote unquote standard drums that I will be putting in my stuff a lot. But yeah, instrument racks or presets, saves, save spaces, like not safe spaces. No one's getting offended, but save spaces like that. Your layouts, all of that will help you with keeping things moving, keeping things going. There's another thing too that I recently did. It's in here somewhere. Oh, it's right there. This slide detuned bass. I just hit the mic. The slide detuned bass. You know, that shit's cool. So froze up Ableton. But that shit's cool. I need to get another one of these, or I need to open this up. But yeah, this shit's cool. I feel pretty proud of this one because I like the way it sounds, and sometimes I'll throw like a little bit of extra on there. But at its root, at its core, I like the way it sounds. It sounds pretty dope. It's pretty much just like the tail end of an 808, but it's like compressed, and then I just threw it in here and just did some volume change, and I did a slight detune on it because I like the way that sounds. I think I explained this in another video. I'm pretty sure I did, but went in here and cut the section that I actually need because I don't hold my basses out. They're very just punchy and just like there for aesthetic to help out the bass drum a lot, and sometimes they'll have their own little flair, like with these upper notes here. So that's why I trim them in to make sure, like, when the waves go up and come back down on those either ends, they meet at a very good meeting point. You know what I mean? So I mean, if I just like fuck this up and just like put this in a weird spot like that, there you go. But if I put it back the way I had it, it's not so abundant, right? It's very low. You can hear it low. But this is a short burst, kind of like bounce around kind of bass. That's why there's glide on there. But I use this a lot. 95, no, I'm lying. It's like 99.89%. Because other times I'll just like throw in some of the stock stuff, which the stock stuff's not bad. But yeah, just organize your workspace to help you make stuff real quick. Here's another thing too. If you are an Ableton user, and I'm pretty sure they have this in FL, I'm pretty sure they have this in Pro Tools as well. Your mixing chain for people who come over to record, or for certain sounds that you go to a lot, that you know the plugins that you're about to be using, or the chains that you want to set up, you can just set up one of these. Because every time I record myself, I have a way of just like I record here, or whichever one is open. I record here, but then I click IO and I do sends only and send it over here. And then I will take my ST51 mic setup, very clean, and then I just throw this on here, right? My EQ, and then my compressor, then my reverb, then my little delay there, very slight delay with a wicked tail just for that drag out. My mono setup, and then a limiter. Look ahead is at 6 milliseconds, but the release is at auto, which is fine. But this is particularly for my voice. That's just how my voice is set up. I've been playing around with this a lot. Let me show you something. This is probably like very embarrassing, but let me show you something here. Now this is what I had before. Reverb first, emitter third. That's literally it. And I thought I was like killing the shit with it, but really I was just. This can work for some people. For my voice in particular, does not work. Because my voice has this like slight distortion to it naturally, but it's very sharp. It's very, very sharp. So like if I were to, I wonder if I can grab a take. Can I grab a take? I wonder. Still underground, I break from the dirt like a cicada. Hey. Let's embarrass myself for a second. Now, probably gonna be really loud, so I'll just turn it down. Still underground, I break from the dirt like a cicada. Do my thing, come back 20 minutes later on some drug dealer shit. Real talk, I break the silence quick and have them rhymes with. So obviously that's a bad take, but I'm using this as an example. That's that running through this chain here. Now, I'm gonna mess with some stuff real quick. Can't do it on this one. It's not that easy, but I'll play you this. Then I'll switch to the other one. Still underground, I break from the dirt like a cicada. Do my thing, come back 20 minutes later on some drug dealer shit. Real talk, I break the silence quick and have them rhymes with. Okay, that's on B. Now listen to A. Still underground, I break from the dirt like a cicada. Do my thing, come back 20 minutes later on some drug dealer shit. Real talk, I break the silence quick and have them rhymes with. Okay, you notice the difference there, right? Still underground, I break from the dirt like a cicada. Do my thing, come back 20 minutes later on some drug dealer shit. Real talk, I break the silence quick and have them rhymes with. Right? Very much so better than on B. I'll play it again. Still underground, I break from the dirt like a cicada. Do my thing, come back 20 minutes later on some drug dealer shit. Real talk, I break the silence quick and have them rhymes with. Now, as far as the envelope goes, this is probably a better option with a little bit of tweaking. Because with this one, the envelope is like pretty much just a square. There's not much movement going on. You want, it's pretty much just like all in there. You know what I mean? Because if you just take that and then you just select it from A, audio to master, and I'm gonna turn that off, set that to record. Oh yeah. I don't do it this way. I do it the other way. Right? Still underground, I break from the dirt like a cicada. Do my thing, come back 20 minutes later on some drug dealer shit. Real talk. I'll figure that out part later. I don't record here. I record in the other side. But I'll touch on this later. This will be a future video. When I get everything lined up, I just kind of threw this together. But as you can see, like, you see how easy it is for me to just like, okay, I want to record something. I'm recording today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, what the fuck? I'm going to record on here, and I always send it to a bus, a return track, if you will. And then I throw my EQ on here. I know my settings. So I'll just throw it on there and then just form it to the song. Makes everything super quick for me, which is good. Definitely works out a lot. Now, that's just my voice though. And if you make this yourself, it's your voice. Like, what if you sounded like, I don't know, I always use audio racks because it helps. But what if you sounded like, you have a deep voice or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's hard to really mimic in my brain to have it sound the way it is out here. However, let's say you have a voice and you like it. You'd be like, okay, well, I always use this EQ. I always use that compressor. And if you don't use that compressor, you use a glue compressor. Maybe you like their presets that they have in there. I don't. I'm okay with them. Some of them work, but especially for the drums, some of them work. But it's not an every time I'll grab it kind of deal. But I use EQ a lot. I don't use glue compressor. I just use regular compressor, and I always have it like that because it gives me a better look. I don't really adjust the knee too much. I think the most I put it was like 10 dB, but I think that was on some crazy shit. But I always use the compressor. Always use an EQ. Sometimes they'll switch. Sometimes I'll have the compressor first and then an EQ. But a lot of the times I'll put an EQ before the compressor, right? Now, for vocals, my thing is I always try to, well, this may be contrary to a lot of popular belief, but I just put it mono because it's mono. You don't speak in stereo. It's not two mouths coming out of you. Terrible example, right? But like I said, like, I always put my stuff in mono. For my voice, I always put 3.2. For some reason, it just works. It just works, probably because the chain that I have set up, but I always put it at 2. You don't need to use mono. You could just record it straight and just have it, boom, there it is. But a lot of the times when you're recording a mono track. You're not recording a stereo track for one person. Especially if you have a stereo mic, you'd want to record it in mono, because if your guy is like getting into it, like, this is the mic and this is your guy, and he's just like, yeah, man, ooh, yeah, fresh J's on my feet, ooh, I run so fast, I stick to the ground, I got cleats. Like, if he's saying some shit like that, then he's waving around and getting all into it. You're gonna have like mic pickup that's like all kinds of weird, and he's just like going all over the place. You got to go in and you got to balance it out. You're gonna put it to mono anyway. So I just put it to mono. This is redundant in my scenario because my mic is not stereo, it's mono. So it makes absolutely no sense for me to put that there. I just like to use the spread that's on there. I put the spread used by mono. I just use the spread to open it up a little bit and give it more band. Well, not bandwidth, but just like expand it out to make it sound a little bit wider. So that way it fills up most of that space in the middle, because everything else is going to be like balanced around me, but we're still going straight, except for like random sporadic moments of this sound comes from behind you or whatever. Now, you don't really need to do this part, but I do it just in case I get amped up and shit. I have a ceiling set to just 0 dB. I have my look ahead set to 6, and I leave it. And this is more for like me monitoring stuff, because I don't really need to limit my voice. But if I get super amped up and things are getting kind of crazy, like this is going all kinds of crazy and whatnot, and it's just like, what? And you're you're peaking all up in here, which you shouldn't. Like, what? Don't do that. Just record at a good volume. But if you get pretty amped up, like your threshold's here and you're here, you don't want to send the signal out and it's just like, bah. You want to limit it. You don't really need to do this. If you are good at maintaining your vocal structure and good at keeping volume consistent, you don't need a limiter. But a lot of times, like I said, depending on the feel of the song, sometimes you just can't help but just go in, just start yelling and just like Meek Milling it and shit. But you don't really need a limiter unless you need a limiter. But this is for me to like make sure I keep myself in check. So there's that. Now let me I don't want to do that yet. I want to do there's a lot of examples that I could use. Yeah, don't save any of that. And I meant to delete those. Here's an example of this put into motion. This was done in about, what was it, like 10, 15 minutes? Something like that. Very much so a scratch track, but still like the amount of things, the flexibility of just what I do, how I record myself, it just works. And I just use what I learned for myself, transmogrified, or you know what, that's a dumb word. I'm going to say translate it into when I record to somebody else. Of course, I have my 3 vocal tracks here. Not much really changes between the two. The EQ is a little bit different, depending on which one you go to. This is obviously the same, and this is a little different. The compressor changed a little bit, and as far as the reverb goes, 13, 13, 13, so that doesn't change. Getting a call. Watch this. It just hangs itself up. That's amazing. Mr. Number is a kick-ass fucking app. Regardless, the mono's turned off on C, the mono's turned on for B, and the chain setup is about for anything that uses C, it's just mains are going to B, and the effects are going to C, but just a little bit, and there's some pans here. Obviously, this is my hook, so I have that set up the way that is. Verses are only gonna be here, and some ad libs here on 4. 3 layers for hooks. What is that? Oh yeah. Major shout out to the Bearded Skull who made this beat. It's the Box hip hop instrumental. I'm gonna leave a link in the video description. I'm gonna remember that because fair use and all that jazz. Definitely not trying to make money off of this. Oh crap, this isn't supposed to come out yet. I'm playing it anyway, because it's just a skeleton. So this is that in works. Alright. You rockin' with this? Yeah, bitch. I getting weight up that you can't even lift. My homies say I spit the shit only my niggas would get. So what? I'd rather speak in real than talk about myth. Users, vape game strong, the Dre head long. I'm getting at your vacay songs. You can't stay long. You decaf, you ain't that strong. You take too long. Got take off, so blaze that strong. Pay attention, I break them bones. Make these bonds, these OGs. They go on with my bad self. I'm way too gone. Evolution does exist. I'm proof I'm way too grown. Confidence is high as fuck, like my dick way too long. I'm telling you, don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Sunny and Mobile, boy, that's a new day. Boy, I got that raise, that's a new pay. Got that new ish, that's a new play. Your girl says she about to have a new babe. That's me. Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Tell them niggas I got it. Tell them niggas I got it. Yeah. Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Tell them niggas I got it. Tell them niggas I got it. Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Tell them niggas I got it. Tell them niggas I got it. Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Nigga, tell them niggas I got it, man. Tell them niggas I got it.
You saying?
Shit talks, fam. Don't get ridiculous. Or should I let this pen stroke body your damn existence? I kill shit and flip it like it states I'm Mr. Fix It. So take your face ass to the clinic. I try to tell these people I got it, but they ain't listening. Try to keep the peace, but the violence gets all the attention. I'm tired of making move all these fakes out here glistening. I'm about to start wilding on niggas and acting senseless. Cause bitch, I pay the bills and trying to get out this debt. Just give me the respect. Fuck a chain around my neck. Fuck a gang affiliation. Fuck a 30. Fuck flexing. Fuck showing off money that ain't mine. Fuck your opinion. Nigga, I done made it out of the slums. I got a new place. Down a lot of shit that's a resume. My thick bad twilight, ill style need a upgrade. Hip hop is back with the geeks, nigga. We the new grade. Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Tell them niggas I got it. Tell them niggas I got it. Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Tell them niggas I got it. Tell them niggas I got it. Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Tell them niggas I got it. Tell them niggas I got it. Yeah. Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Somebody tell them niggas I got it. Nigga, tell them niggas I got it. 3, 2. That's about it. But that was done in about 15 minutes. Mostly because I kind of knew what I was gonna say anyway, and normal motions. Take out the verse first. Take out the second verses. Get to the hooks. Ad libs. Little effects here, and just setting up everything the way I would normally set up everything. Just okay, I record on this track. I route it to my return track or my bus track, and then I just throw my effects there and minorly tweak it to accommodate for the song. Balance out everything, of course, and this is pretty much my normal recording style. Also, it's got isotopos on 2 or 6, just for the master. Otherwise, it'd just be like really dry. Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Tell them niggas I got it. Tell them niggas I got it. But even still, balancing everything definitely helps. Same thing with the drum racks. If you're gonna use your own drum racks, just balance everything right and make sure it sounds okay, but don't overload it with effects. With vocals, same thing. Balance everything right. Don't overload it with effects. Just make sure it sounds clear enough for you to work with. And then when you master it, if you just put a plugin on it, just make sure that your plugin is decent. Don't just throw a compressor on it. Just make sure, like, equalizer, dynamic, imager, and maximizer. That's about it. That's tape shaping. That's stock. And there's minor tweaks in that. But don't just throw a compressor and a limiter on your EQ or on your master and think that's okay. Don't do that. It'll make everything really weird. Trust me, I've done it. It's not good. If you're going to master your own tracks, spend a lot of time with it and make sure you are proud of the results and everything sounds aesthetically pleasing to all of it. And also, here's another thing too. When you got your stuff laid out, you want your stuff the way that you want it, and you got everything right. Don't send max volume to the master. you're gonna get rough.
Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Tell them.
Like even that is a lot. Even that's a lot. But when you turn it off,
Don't underestimate the kid. I bring the new wave. Tell them niggas I got it. Tell.
Like that's a lot. That's definitely a lot. It's supposed to be like between like -3, -6. So obviously I need to go in, balance some stuff out, maybe widen out this instrumental just a bit, and then go back in, because most of the power is coming from the instrumental, which is as simple as just like turning this down from turning this down from 0 dB to like -4 or something. But everything is in balance. But it also helps the workflow to keep everything in line if you got just like your standard stuff. Here's another thing I want to mention. Don't save any of that. Here's another thing I want to mention. I gave a lot of that from my perspective on how I record myself. But it's really important. Here's a guy, Fat Bastard J. Here's his tracking. I'm going to remove that. Here's his voice. For some reason, this works for him, and it sounds good. It sounds really good. For some reason, this works for him. Like reverb, tiny bit of reverb, compressor, and then an EQ and then a limiter at -56, and gain down. Cause he talks low, but he raps loud. But this works for him. And you got to remember, when you're recording someone else and you're setting up a chain for him, don't base it off of like your own voice. Take what you learned from your voice and apply it to a person that you're recording, and that'll help you like understand, like, okay, he raps loud this way, or he raps this way, and his voice is more so in like this part of the spectrum. About here, his voice is about here. He has a little bit here. So we'll try and like, based upon the instrumental supplied, we'll try and get that taken care of. Whoa, that's crazy. But yeah, a lot of that has to come into play. But that's his chain. Not much going on there. Here's another artist, Buddy G. This is his chain. Compress it, cause I don't know. This needs work. This is actually one of my earlier ones. This definitely needs work. Listening to his recent material, I can't move it around for some reason. Oh wait, that's why. Listening to his recent material, it makes, and I've done a song with him recently. I did reverb here. I did EQ here. I did limiter here. I didn't put mono on his track, but I did the compressor first before the EQ. And a lot of his voice is prominent about here, but when he does his higher range syllables and accentuations, he needs a little bit of help to boost it up into the range where it's understandable. And I just put a little notch there, but I scoop off the low end because his voice is not like mine. It's a little bit deeper, but it's a high rasp, so I use this for him. I do have examples of Fat Bastard J and Buddy G. In the future, I may end up showing that off. But there you have it. It's really easy to just like, okay, I understand how this guy's voice is. We've recorded a couple times. Let's set up a chain for him. So that way when he comes over next time, I can just throw that on there and just like tweak it just accordance to how he's feeling that day, or depending on the instrumental, so that everything meshes together. This can be a good and a bad thing, because you'll be throwing that on there and you'll just forget to mess with it, and then you'll be like, okay, well, he doesn't sound too good here, what's going on? And then you add in extra stuff. That can be a good and bad thing, but when you know your artist, and when you really study how they are with their voice, like of different types of songs, then you'll get a good understanding, especially yourself. You'll get a good understanding of like, okay, I rap this way on this type of beat. I use these amount of settings and yada yada. I'll apply that to that. Um, it's a very, very. It's not as easy as it seems at first, because it's just gonna take a lot of consideration into how you mix down stuff as well, depending on your style. And a lot of people have videos on YouTube. I'll leave some in the description so that way you can go to those. These are ones that I actually go to for references as well to help me out with my stuff. So I'll throw some of those in the description as well. But long and short of it, just keep yourself organized. Especially, I'm looking at all the producers that I know, especially when it comes to your drum samples. and where you keep your instrumentals, where you keep special packs, where you keep like tracks and stuff like that. If you sample from, you have a sample library, you have tracks to edit, so that way you're not doing this. Oh, I wonder where that is. Man, what is that? Where did that go? Man, what? And it takes a lot of time out of you. Keep organized, man. Just understand that. But thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate your time. If you like this video and you sat through this whole thing, jeez, man. Good on you. And leave a like down below. Who knows what the next upload will be? I do, but you don't. You'll find out later. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. Like video or dislike, whatever. Leave your comments below. And yeah. 3, 2